Welcome to Kandi Unfiltered in the Grace Space. I'm your host, Candy Cox, coffee lover, adventurer, and encourager of brave warriors just like you. Here in the Grace Space, we keep things real, raw, and refreshing. This is a place where faith, fun, and a whole lot of grace collide, offering you encouragement for everyday journey. I'm thrilled to be joined by the talented and inspiring Terri Baker, owner of Pretties Grace. Together, once a month, we'll bring you a heartfelt conversations, decorating tips, and all the latest happenings from Terry's world of gracefully curated interiors and gifts. Terry's passion for creating beauty and encouraging others gives us great insight to what the Grace Space is all about. So grab your favorite cup of coffee, pull up a chair, and join us for authentic conversations that empower you to live boldly, embrace grace, and create spaces, both in your home and your heart, that truly reflect who you are. This is Candy Unfiltered in the gray space, where every story is told with purpose and every moment is sprinkled with grace. Well, let's dive in. Welcome, Terry.
Wow, what an introduction. I love it. This is amazing.
I am so excited to begin this journey with you.
Same. We
Y'all just smiling.
Yes, we do. In these cute little cups.
I know. Wonder where we can get these for $100.
Not know a place. I might know a person.
Okay, like you can hook a girl up, can't you? Well, let's see what's on the menu. Okay, for starters, we are going to talk about the beginnings of Pretties and Grace. So why don't you talk about that for us?
Well, David and I decided, oh wow. We often joke about how we didn't really open a business, that the business opened us, and that is completely true.
Right.
Several years ago, when all of our kids, like you, we have quite a large family. We're a blended family of five boys and a girl. And when they grew up and started leaving the nest, we decided, okay, where are we don't need this big house. Where are we going to be? What are we going to do? So we downsized a bit and had all of this extra decor and furniture and things that I needed to get rid of. So I decided to open a little booth in
Right.
a local vintage market, 6 by 10 space, itty bitty, and caught the bug. I loved merchandising. I loved retail, making things look pretty. And I always thought I loved photographing everything. I just loved everything about it. And so I thought, well, I could do this. And so fast forward 3 or 4 or 5 months, and I had about 2,300 square feet in that vintage market, and I got my wholesale license and started researching and learning, and, it wasn't long, and, we decided, we were driving home down Military one afternoon after church, going to get something to eat, and noticed that I mentioned to David that the building there on Military that was our little flagship store was coming open. And he goes, "That little spot?" And I said, "Yeah." And he, on two wheels, pulled in there. We
What David doing?
yeah, so you're peeking through the windows, and I'm just looking at him going, like, we both work full time. I mean, we can't open a store. What are we doing? And I mean, before I knew it, the ink was dry, and we were moving in and opening our first store. And we didn't know who was gonna run it. We didn't know what I was gonna put in there. We didn't know how we were gonna do this, and we just decided right then and there that prayer would be number 1 in our business plan, and it hadn't failed us yet. So we
Because
opened
God is good.
God is good, and, I could talk about my staff a whole podcast, but as you know, one of them is near and dear to your heart.
Very Mary dear.
Madison has been with me almost from the very, very beginning, and, I tease her that she even tried to leave one time, and I tied her to the counter, and she came back. But, I guess my most asked question is, how do you work full time and run a business? And, we've grown now to, 3 locations in 3 counties, and actually, we just moved downtown,
Yeah.
and that is my dream store. I love it. You might even I think there's footage somewhere of me rolling around in the floor with all the space.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's more than just pretty things, and I strive to we're very faith-based, and I've always loved to show little tidbits of faith in my own decor at home, and in gifts, I mean, obviously, we can run to Hobby Lobby, or we can run to Target, or we can run and we can find pretty things, but I really wanted it to be more than that. I wanted it to be a place that, was a little bit more of an experience,
Yes.
and,
Which you definitely buy. I mean, when you were first opening on military, I just remember you guys were in there working really late one night, getting things all unpacked and everything, and, of course, I had shopped there many times when it was a boutique before,
right.
and, I was getting ready to do our very first event, for ABBA Charities for, Adoption Awareness Month, and I'm going down and it's dark outside and I'm like, "Oh, Terry's over there." And so, "What's she doing? What's she got going on?" I know they're getting ready to open and I walked in and I was just taken back by the beauty that you had created and just all the unique things that you had. And I remember telling you that this was a destination spot.
Well, you told me that, and I have never forgotten it, and, that's my dream is someone will drive the extra mile to see us,
Yeah.
and, I'm a numbers gal, I'm an accountant by day, and, um, part of me is so encouraged by those who come from out of the county to shop with us. I
Right.
don't know if it's they're passing through or if they come just for the day. I mean, obviously, we have local like Hot Springs Village and, different hot springs and Sherwood and, the metropolitan, but I have a little Instagram account that I follow, with my home decor, and I've had friends who I've met on there that stop on their way from state to state. They look us up and come and pop in because they saw us on Instagram or different things, and so, you know, as much as I want my backyard to be in the store all of the time, it is pretty cool when you have those that drive
Right.
to see us,
Right.
and I've been very encouraged by that, and, you know, we I want people to know the minute they walk in that we are believers, and, we want to provide a gift that maybe, you don't have to say a word, just provide that gift or,
Right.
something to be a little bit unique, and so that it's been so much fun. It's
Yeah.
so much fun, and God has just sent us everything we've needed so far.
Well, it's been as a friend, it's been so much fun watching, how God has transitioned you and grown you throughout this. And like you said, you have 3 spaces now. So tell us where all Pretties and Grace is located at these days.
Well, obviously, we have our flagship here in Benton. It's as recently as last weekend, we've closed our military location, that first little spot that
Like,
and
I'm sure
we're
you shedded a few tears over that.
I have,
Yeah.
and it's not empty yet because we'll tell a little bit more
Yeah.
about that. We've migrated downtown and we opened uh, I guess I need to kind of back up a little bit to how my partnership with Chris, Jordan, stated, and he has stated in Wild Boutique. A couple of years ago at Glitz in Garland, we were neighbors, and he was kind of poking me about my displays, and he says, "I want those. I want how much are you sell them for?" I'm like, "Well, they're not for sale. They're my displays. What do you mean?" And we joked back and forth, and he was in the middle of opening his location in Park Plaza,
Right.
and his it was real precipitous, I mean, very, very quick, and I was like, "Well, just come to the warehouse and borrow them." I said, "They're just going back to the warehouse, I'm not gonna use them in the store, they're mainly for my shows," and he said, "Are you kidding? I can borrow them? I'll rent them from you." I'm like, "Chris, come get them. 'Em, they're just in the warehouse," and so he walked into the warehouse a week later, and I was showing him all of the little things that I have, and, he goes, "I've got a better idea." He goes, "I'm also opening a space in Malvern, and I can't fill it up. Would you like to maybe partner with me and we'll work out the details?" And I'm like, "Well, how soon are we talking?" And he goes, "We're opening Black Friday," which was 7 days later.
Right, right.
And so, you know what we did? We hauled the trailer down and we opened up a store in 7
7
days.
days.
And that has been I love a good downtown.
Right.
I mean, Malvern has an up and coming downtown. I mean, it's they're putting so much into that,
Yes.
and I am so excited to be a part of that.
It's a beautiful location.
It is, and
You
I walked in and the high ceilings and the old architecture and the
and the
exposed brick
yeah,
and the windows and
yeah,
all the things, and so that has just been a wonderful partnership,
right.
and,
Because
so
there's nothing like that close to Malvern at all.
no, and nothing like Stated or
Right.
Pretties and Grace,
Exactly.
and so it's the majority of the store is Stated, and it features us, and we have, a portion of it, and, it's taught me I've grown a lot and learned a lot, and, it's been a lot of fun being a part of their historic, beautiful downtown.
Right.
And when I got downtown in Malvern, I thought, "Gosh, I want that in Benton. I just
Mm.
wanna be downtown," and, real estate's hard to come by
Yeah, it
downtown.
is.
And, but I digress. So let me go back to Fayetteville. We also are in Fayetteville, and that is due to the lovely Madison. Madison ran my little store on Military for a whole year until, as you know, Griffin, I'm telling the world now, Griffin and she married, and his job took him to Northwest Arkansas. And so Madison, had to resign for a little while. And of course, we kept up with her and we talked a lot and all. And I don't remember how long ago after that it was, maybe just a few months,
Right.
if that. She said, "Can I come back? Is there anything that I can do for you, like remotely?" And
Right.
Madison is very talented for social media, marketing, those kind of things that I love to do, but I don't have time to do. And so I said, "You know what? Are you in town?" And she said, "I am." I said, "Well, meet me at the store. Let's talk." So we went up on a Sunday afternoon, I'll never forget it, and we talked about some things I thought that I couldn't really have her maybe full-time, but part-time, we could bring her back on board, and I was very happy to have her, and she was willing to come back and do a lot of the shows and our events and that kind of
Which
thing,
she loves.
and she's very Madison and I have, um, like, she knows what I'm thinking. It's like we share a brain almost.
Y'all have the same vision a lot of the time.
And
Yeah.
I can trust her to run with it. And by the same token, if it's one of those situations where I like it, but I don't love it, she's not her, she's like, I agree with you.
Right.
We just work so well together. And Madison is so even keel and I'm so high strung that we balance. It's just a great team. And I wanted her back so bad. And so as we were talking about this conversation, David goes, "Well, why don't we just maybe see about getting a space up there?" And, I looked at him like, "What? Are you kidding me right now?" And so that's when Brick City was born.
Yeah.
Madison kind of found that location, and we went up and we talked to them, and, I can as God is my witness, I've not stepped foot in Brick City since the day the doors were opened.
And that's such a cool story too, because I work up in that area a lot, and I'm actually a frequent customer at Brick City because of all the
Cool.
yeah, it's a cool place, all the boutiques there. And I remember when she was telling me that you guys were going to uh, do a space there, I was like, oh, I would love it if you guys could get this corner. Like you go in, you go to the left, and it's that far corner. And I was telling her all about it, and she goes, Mom, that's the one we're getting. I was like, are you kidding me? Like that, I like when she told me that, that's where I envisioned you guys. And then that's where you guys got, and I was like, "Oh, this is such a God thing."
Well, and they don't play up
No.
there. I mean, they won't talk prices over the phone. They wouldn't even talk to Madison. They will only deal with owners.
Right.
And so I took a day off and I drove up there and we got there probably an hour before our appointment. And I thought, well, I just want to go in. I had never been in and I wanted to go in and see and look at the other top things that are
Right.
in there. And I saw that spot and I looked at Madison and I looked at David. I said, I want that spot. And she had a booking appointment with another vendor right ahead of me. And they were in there with their measuring tapes on that spot. And my heart sank. I thought, I'm not going to do this if I can't have that spot. And so when they left, the Ms. Hassan brought me over there and she said, "We've been saving this one for you. We want you to have this." And I said, "Really?" And I mean, I don't even know how much it was or anything. I was just already with my measuring tapes. And, you remember you helped. You've been so gracious to help Madison and myself and Griffin and it's all hands on deck when we build.
Tape.
It's all hands on deck when we're flipping and building spots. But we went up and I think we went up the day of the little ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
And Madison has run the show since then at 25, 26 years old. I don't have to micromanage her,
Yeah.
at all. I mean, she knows how to run a business up there,
Mhm.
and that's just a testament to her, not a testament to the fact that I have no time and don't care,
Right.
because I do.
Right.
But she has, I mean, that space was born to give her a spot in our company, basically,
Right.
and
Right.
and it has been phenomenal up there. And so that's our 3rd space. And, I'm hoping I'm not jumping ahead,
No,
but
no, you're doing great.
How Downtown was born, shortly after Glitz and Garland this year, or right after Glitz and Garland. Chris approached us about, collaborating with the Wild location,
Right.
and that store is beautiful.
Oh, so
I
beautiful.
mean, a blank slate,
Yeah.
beautiful. Not anything I've done, but, like, just in itself. And so I said, "Well, I'd like to have a presence before Christmas, but I can't move that quick." I have to, and I wanted to test it a little bit to see how it would do, how it would be received. And so we ran both locations through the holidays and kind of did like a little pop-up down there,
Right.
if you will, which we were all over the store. And it was just a dream. I mean, I love those girls over there. I love partnering with Chris. He shares, we're very different,
Right.
but we're very, we mesh very well.
Right.
And we work a lot of the same because we're both,
Yeah.
there's no dragging your feet. If we make a decision, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so we did. And so after the first of the year, it just doesn't make financial sense to have 2 stores within a mile of each other
Yeah.
and have to staff 2 and all of that. So we're moving our flagship, and so Military will be but a dream or a memory.
Yeah.
And the Wild location, our newest location is like my dream. So
Right. Right.
so I am so tickled, and, we moved in over the weekend last week, and it's every bit of what I thought it would be.
And your window space.
So fun. Yeah, those windows are fun. I already know what's gonna be like the next 3 down the line.
That's right. That's right. Well, I do have to brag on my daughter just a little bit because she does your marketing and your social media, and I just love watching her TikToks and
Oh, yeah.
all of her reels and everything. And so that really does well for not only bringing foot traffic in, but for you guys actually have online shopping as well.
Absolutely. Yes, we launched our website about a year not quite a year after we opened the Military location,
Right.
and it's grown, exponentially every year.
Right.
Every year,
And you ship all over.
We do.
Yeah.
We ship all over from, one of my best repeat customers is a high school principal in the Bronx, New York. She lives in New York City and shops at Pretties and Grace. Like, repeat, I think she found me on Instagram, I guess, and
Yeah.
she's so sweet, and but we have several, repeat customers, and then I have, I don't sometimes know how they find us, but it's on TikTok
Yeah.
and
'Cause you
Madison.
guys have Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Madison also does our email. We kind of have a little newsletter
Right.
a couple of times a week. We don't really want to flood people.
Right.
We're trying to find that balance.
Mhm.
When we have something to say, we email it.
Right.
We don't just email, buy this, buy this,
Right.
buy
Right.
this. And it's funny that the Grace Space is also the name of my blog,
Right.
which I haven't kicked that off like I want to, just due to time. But I want our website to also be a place for inspiration. Obviously, the shopping is fun, but for
Right.
inspiration, for prayer requests, we have a place on there where you can submit a prayer request, and we'll pray with you and for you. And then the blog, uh, that's probably going to be more of when I retire and I have some time to
Let
really. I used to blog years ago during my breast cancer journey, and
Yeah.
I found a lot of just some therapy almost in it,
Yeah.
and sharing my thoughts, and working full time and running the store now, I just don't have the time to put into it like I used to, and I'm old at night. I like to sleep.
I get in there with those jobs as soon as possible. Well, that kind of takes us to our main course, which is the heart of the gray space. And one of the things that I love when you go into Pretties and Grace, there's a few things that I love. And number one, you have free Bibles to anyone who wants a Bible.
We do. We feel like that, the word is something that every person should have,
Right.
and we
And
do
that's
we
at all of your
all
locations
of
you
our
love.
locations.
Yeah.
It's just a little there's a little stack of Bibles, and it says, "The word is free. Need one? Take one."
Yeah. And all of your events.
All of our
Yeah.
events, and I've lost track of how many. I really need to do the math on that, how many we've given away, and we've partnered with, a couple of organizations that, I know that First Methodist Church in, Malvern has, I don't really know what they call it, like a community dinner
Right.
twice a month or periodically, I don't know how
Right.
often, and she'll call every so often and say, "We've run out of Bibles, can we come get some more?" And I said, "I'll have a box at the counter for you," and so they come and get those, and, um, eh, this Christmas, we gave away more downtown Benton than we have at Military ever.
Oh, wow.
I mean, people just pick
Yeah.
those up, and, I've taken them to work or, like, and I encourage, if you know of a need, grab 3 or 4,
Right.
grab a handful. We have them. I order them in bulk, and
Yeah.
so I feel like that is something that should never stop someone, and I have the sweetest little story, if I may share it.
Yeah, please.
We were at Military one day, and I didn't work very many weekends. At first, I was there all the time.
Right.
During the summer, when things slowed down a little, David was like, "We got to take some time." But one Saturday, I believe it was actually the 4th of July, I opened the store and I worked, but I wanted the staff to have off.
Yeah.
And a little girl came in, she was probably 10 or 12, and she walked in, and there was 3 or 4 customers in the store, and she was kind of walking, and I said, "Are you by yourself?" She said her little brother was getting a haircut across the way, and she was bored, and she asked her mom if she could come in, and I said, "Well, okay," and so we talked a little bit, and she picked up a prayer journal, and she said, "What is this?" And so I showed her and explained to her what a prayer journal was. I said, if you're intentional with your prayers, you can see how God works in your life. If you write down, instead of just saying, "I want to have a good day," say, "I want, God help me through this or God my feet through this,"
Right.
then you'll begin to see just how boldly He works in your life. And she said, she put the little journal on the counter and she started digging in her pocket. And I'd already made up my mind. She was taking that with her. Now, I didn't
Right.
know. She said, "How much is it?" And I want to say it was $12, something
Right.
like that. And she put a little 20 down on the counter. And I so she bought the journal and she started to walk out. She turned around and she said, "Do you sell pens?" And so I gave her an ink pen. I was
Yeah.
like, "I don't, but maybe I should," anyway. So I gave her an ink pen and she went on about her business. And there was 2 ladies in the store and we were having a little hen party, chit-chatting about decor and all
Right.
girly things, and they bought quite a bit, and I was helping them carry their things out to the car, and I looked to the left, and there's a bench out there underneath the doctor's office.
Right.
And that little girl was sitting there with a Bible and her journal, writing in her journal, 10, 12 years old. And I thought, I mean, I just stood there for a second, and the ladies noticed I was tearing up, and I said, "That's the
As
good
I'm doing
stuff."
right now.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know that she ever picked it up again,
Right.
but I don't know that she didn't
You
either.
planted a seed.
I don't know. God did. God put her in that
Yeah.
spot.
He used you to plant a seed in that little girl's life.
And, so we've had lots of opportunities that, Miss Cindy, who is also who her and Mr. Rob
Yeah.
are, as valuable as Madison is to me. I mean, they are just, and Miss Cindy tells me she makes it a point to tell me on the daily everything. You don't get to hear the good things that happen. You don't get
Right.
to hear, 'cause, I'm not there on day in and day out, and so we've sat in the floor and cried with people and held prayer, I mean, it just bonding over little things,
Yeah. Right.
maybe we are making a difference.
You are.
Maybe we are.
You are.
It's
One of the other things that I love is you have a Bible displayed in there.
it's our guest book.
Yep, that's your guest book, and you tell people to highlight their favorite scripture. Good
Yeah.
job done. Mhm. And then you have a prayer box,
Yeah.
a prayer request.
We do. And David and sometimes Rob and Cindy, sometimes as a staff, it just depends on the situation in the day, but we pray over those prayer requests. And um, I love going in because sometimes the Bible will sit there for a couple of days
Right,
on the same page. But
right.
if it's moved, I know it.
Yeah,
I know it's moved. And I'll go to see. And I tell them, don't close it, leave it open so the next person who walks up
oh,
will read what you've highlighted.
right.
And oftentimes you see several initials by the same verse. There's a
Yeah,
lot of verses that
yeah,
everybody, several people share,
yeah.
but some, it just jumps off the page at me and it's like, I needed to hear that today.
Yes, yeah,
And that's like a little God wink,
yeah,
you know?
exactly,
That's
exactly.
just and that's going to follow us downtown too. We're going to have that little get our Bible guest book. I
Yeah,
actually got the idea. I went to a wedding one time and the bride and groom had that idea and I thought I'm doing that at the store.
uh-huh.
And so we did and I've never looked back. I love it.
Yes, we actually did that, for Madison's wedding too, was the Bible guest book. Yeah,
I love that.
yeah, because it's something that you get to hold on to for a lifetime.
Tangible.
Mhm,
Yes. Yeah.
yes. Well, one of the things that I know without a shadow of a doubt that you love is greenery in your store.
But blooms and greens. That's what Madison and I call it. Blooms and greens. This sounds terrible. I'm kind of a greenery snob.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't like the cheesy
No, you don't.
and sometimes it comes in and it's ugly,
Yeah.
and it goes to the tent sale, or it goes to the dumpster.
By Terry standards, it's ugly.
I think it's ugly. And I wanna touch, and so I search high and low for what I call the good stuff,
Yeah.
and I can I'm a kind of a gatekeeper on it. I mean, I've had a lot of people say, "Where do you find this?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I Pretties and Grace.
Pretties and Grace, that's where you can get all the good greenery. It's you better believe if it's in Pretties and Grace, it has passed the Terry's test, and it is quality.
Or David has dug it out and put it out without my knowledge because he's like, "Well, yeah, somebody's gonna love this." But I really do think that greenery and florals, they soften a space,
Yep. You're
they
right.
add texture to a space, and they I mean, you get like for instance, this little planter,
Yep.
I can change the whole look just by yanking that out and putting something else in.
Right, right,
And I can buy a staple one time and use it year round and just change out the stem or the draping or whatever the case may be.
right,
And so we've become kind of known for our greeneries.
right.
And we have, some bestsellers that I can't keep. And then sometimes something will come in new and it becomes my new favorite. And David goes, as soon as you say they're your favorite, it becomes everybody's favorite. And I'm like, not really. That's not true. But I think that, and I love fresh flowers. Now I'm a fresh flower girl too. Oh Hey Bouquet brings me fresh flowers every 2 weeks with her little subscription.
Yes.
And I'm not saying it replaces the real, but who can afford to have real all day, all
All
the
the
time,
time.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, I actually, in another podcast that I do, the first couple weeks, Sarah Grace at Pretties I mean,
Sarah.
and Sarah Beth, sorry, Sarah Beth at, Oh Hey Bouquet, she made me the flower bouquets, and I'm like, "I can't come do this every week." So she made and I'm like you, and it has to be quality. It has to be beautiful, right? Like, good quality, and I told her, I said, "Sarah Beth, I know you don't wanna hear this from me, but I want you to make the arrangement, and I want good quality, something that can last me," and so she made me a beautiful piece, and, now people are like, "Are those real?" They start and I'm like, "No, but
I know where you can get
I
one.
know where you can get it, just don't tell her I told you it's fake."
Well, and I've had people, Annie Norris, a good friend of mine, wanted to send a big fall, something kinda over the top, in faux florals, to a funeral visitation about a year ago, and I thought, "Ooh, I've never really done that." And I did a few, and I posted it, and I had people right and left wanting me to recreate it. So we can do things like that, those special things.
That's one of the things that I love too, and we're gonna talk about some of the items that you brought from Pretties and Grace today. I mean, like the mug here, which is
Cute.
I love the little dimples. I know, and then the little flap. Yes, and it's the perfect hand cup of coffee. I love it. And so you can find this cup at Pretties and Grace,
Yes,
right?
along with, several different fun little.
You got some really cool Arkansas cups in there.
Yes, I meant to bring those, and I didn't.
And, Valentine's, you've got now Christmas time, you had a lot of fun ones at
Yeah,
Christmas.
we have the fun ones. Right now, of course, Valentine's tomorrow,
Right,
and
right.
when this airs, it will have been yesterday.
It would have been yesterday, they may still have some there, so
Yes, and, what's something funny we haven't really touched on is I'm a really neutral decorator,
yes, you are.
and, like, my home is, I started out really, really farmhouse, and my it's evolved. I'm not as much farmhouse as I used to be. Now, I do like the wood elements,
Right,
but I don't like the splinter
right,
thing.
right.
But I am very, very neutral, so I love the neutral. That's
Yeah.
what I brought here today, but I'm not afraid to throw a pop of color.
No,
You know,
what that looks like if we change that out.
all
Yeah,
you have to do is just take
yeah.
this out. I think I have another one down here, and look how cute.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's for spring.
right.
This is my favorite everyday greenery. It's light and airy, and it's $12.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I
and
love these. Um, but what I was starting to say, with our new location at Wild, I really like Christmas this year. I branched out.
I was
A
so
lot of
proud of
colors.
you at Christmas time. I was shocked, and I was like, "Oh, Terry, this is awesome."
And I know my husband, David,
It's my color girl.
well, and David's going to watch this, so I'm going to tell him to fast forward a second because he doesn't know this yet.
Right.
But the showstopper tree
Yeah.
that never leaves
Yeah.
is coming in 18-foot tall
Oh,
for next Christmas.
that's
So
gonna
it's
be
going to be fantastic. But that said, in the spring, we have all of the colors of the tulips, and if you touch those, they almost feel cold, like a real
well,
tulip.
they're beautiful.
They are beautiful.
They are beautiful.
And that we're known for that. In the Christmas season, we're known for our draping cedars. In the summertime, we have hydrangeas. In fall is gorgeous.
Yes.
Now, I do the
Yes,
deep
yes.
colors in the fall. We have a few signature things that we'll always carry, like our velvet things and all of that. But
Right.
we've got a few new things up our sleeve this year. And right now, we just went ahead and, since we were moving, launched our spring edit. And
Those rabbits that you're carrying, the bunnies, oh,
oh, we have tons of bunnies. And we
oh,
have tons of the paper
yeah.
things. Uh, and, our prices, I try really, really hard. We do have some investment pieces.
Yep.
I mean, you just can't have a high-end boutique without some investment pieces.
Right.
But I also try really, really, really hard to have budget-friendly items as well.
Yes.
And I can work with something that you already have at home.
Yeah.
How many times have you texted me
Oh.
and said, "This is what I've got, what do I need?" And
Yeah.
I sent you out with a $12 piece of greenery. I
Yeah.
mean, it changed the whole look.
Exactly.
And so we really
I think
do.
my whole kitchen corner is like Terry and, Terry decorated this from the phone.
I mean, I do that so much. I can do that a lot easier than I can come. I've come to people's homes, and I mean, I'm not qualified. I don't have
You
any
are
training.
qualified because you have the eye for it. You and Madison both, but you had the eye for it, and I've seen you decorate and put things together and
Well,
stage things for people, and you have people that bring stuff
into
into
me, yeah. As like, I have a really good friend who has. She says, "I'm bringing my box." She's got a little box that she puts on her dining room table, and each season we switch.
Right.
She keeps the staples, but we switch the greens, the blooms. We might add a little pumpkin for the
Right.
fall, or we might add a little bunny or a little cross or a little something for the Easter season. We might add an ornament at Christmas, but whatever the case may be, we change it just enough
Mhm.
to make it look totally different,
Right.
but she didn't spend a lot of money. So, we have budget-friendly options, and I know that you can get sticker shock in our store.
Yeah.
I'm not that's not
Well,
lost on me.
those are the investment pieces.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is not lost on me. But, we try to run good sales on
Right.
occasion, but we also still have to pay the bills. So I'd have the same margin across the board on every item. So know that if something is marked up a little bit higher, I spend a little more on that. It's a
Right.
higher end piece. But we may have this may be, I don't even know how much that is, but we might have something very similar in a less expensive, or you might have something at your own house
Right.
and we just show it. So I try to create displays and all and little vignettes to show you what you can do on your coffee table or what you can do on your dining room table or on your mantle or whatever
And I love the, what are those?
the
The
artichoke.
artichokes. Those are beautiful.
Aren't they?
These are fun and beautiful.
Yes, these are new this year, and these are 2 of the colors that we have, and then we have, cabbage this year, the little cabbages in different colors, but just to even set on a bookshelf or, I'm showing
Right.
right, just kinda just to add a little pop of something, it's so, so cute. I
N
love it.
Now this
Oh, yeah.
okay, this is one of my favorite things, a staple that you guys carry, and, the paper in here is just fabulous. Yeah,
Linen.
the raw edge linen, and it is beautiful, and this is I know that this is something that you and David do, and, and just I love is, uh, you guys write notes to each other,
Yes,
and
on the front, it says, "The reasons I love you." Now,
yeah,
we have some that says, "What good shall I do this day?" So if you wanted to use it at your office, you could use a notepad or a grocery list or gratitude journal. They're genuine leather journals,
right,
and, David and I have these little, large night, lamps on our nightstands,
right,
and so last year on Valentine's Day, we got this for each other, and I wrote a note to him, and I hang it on his lamp.
right,
And it might take him a couple of days to see that it's up there, and then, he'll read it, and he'll write back to me, and if I see it on my nightstand, then it means I have a new letter in there.
right.
And now we don't write in it every day. We're not
Yeah,
that ooey gooey,
yeah,
mushy mushy, but we do share, a good love.
right.
I do love him very much, and he's very, very, very sweet. Sometimes I tease him and say he's the girl in the relationship because I'm the one that he's more sensitive sometimes than I am.
Yes.
But, a couple of weeks ago, I woke up and there it sits. I mean, I mean, he'd probably been a month, and I wondered, "How long had that been up there?" There it is dead. He said, "Only a couple of days," and so then I wrote it. I took great deal of time, and I wrote something in his, and I laid it over on his side, and it took him like 3 days, and I was like, "You don't notice anything over there?" I'm like, I'm starting to get salty. But these are just something that you might not be able to find just anywhere. I mean, yes, you could get a little notebook, but this is something that I really hope one day.
It's actually,
Right.
to me, kinda like a heirloom piece, like, you also have the ones that open up,
Yes.
and I recently bought one of those for a friend of mine whose, husband, is sick, and they're just kinda going through some things just, as a family, and they're, up in age, and so I wanted to get that with your inspiration of that where they could write, just kind of like things that they could pass on to their kids and, words of encouragement and thoughts of the day. And I left a little letter about, doing that. And so that inspired me to get that for someone else for them
Well,
to do.
and my mother kept a journal. I lost my mother at a very young age to breast cancer. And I don't. Now I blog. I blogged for years, and it's all on the computer, but that's not as
Right.
touchy.
Yeah.
And so I thought, when we fill it up, we'll get another one, and it may, we may only fill up one, we may not totally fill it up, but I think like if something were to happen to either of us or both of us, our kids will love that one
That's right.
to see, the love we had, and even if it's just Did you notice that I took out the trash today? Or, I mean, it doesn't have to be, a lot, but we have lots of things like this. And there's
Yeah.
a small one that I love, and it said, "Where you are right now, God circled on a map for you." And I love that. And so we are a pretty girly store, but things like this are good for men too.
Yeah.
I know the leather bound, and we have the little wallets that kind of go with it. This is by Sugar Boo. And if you've ever been to Disney Springs, Sugar Boo is in Disney Springs. And so that's where I found them, and they wholesale, and I just love all of their little
Yeah.
thoughtful things.
Yes.
And you can't find that
No.
around here.
No, I love it. It's one of my favorite things that you, guys carry. Speaking of one of my favorite things that you carry, the stones. You've gotta talk
Church
about the
stones.
stones.
Yes, and I had to bring Grace.
Yeah.
These are, a company that the marble is actually mined near the city of Ephesus,
Okay.
and they mine this, and then obviously the artwork is done in the United States, but a portion of all of their proceeds goes to further the kingdom, different philanthropies and different, ministries. You can read about it on their website, but we are one of their retailers, and, uh this is our most popular size, but they come in little small ones,
Mhm.
large ones, and this is, there's thousands of different Bible verses on
Right.
there, some just say Jesus, some say grace, but I love these, and this is $17. I mean, a perfect gift for someone that has everything, or
Right.
and sometimes the verses are if they're going through something, or if they need some inspiration, if they need bereavement, all kinds of various reasons, to buy someone a gift that you just need a little something.
Right.
And the small ones, we have magnets that come in the
Yeah, I was gonna say about the magnets because, I buy those and, you also have the little, wood hearts
Yes,
there, and I have and you also have, like, these little, canvas pouches, and
yes,
so I actually every mom with adoption that I work with gets a pouch with one of the little
crosses in it. Yes.
magnets and the heart, and so it's something that we give to moms that, we work with.
Right, and they're affordable,
Yes.
but they have such I mean, they're so special. I mean,
Yes.
coming from Ephesus, and then the little hearts and the crosses that you were talking about are olive wood that came from Bethlehem.
Yes.
They, carve all of that, and this little man, he's like in his 80s, does these by hand, and they're fabulous. And the little prayer quilts have a cross inside, and they're all prayed over, and they have little either a verse or of inspiration, that all of those little things, to me mean something,
Right.
you know, and I mean, I don't know, I just uh, every
There's
time I've
such
given my
special pieces
yes.
that you can give that to me, as if I'm gonna give someone like a happy gift, it's not gonna be something that they're gonna necessarily get from somewhere else. It's gonna be something special.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I love is I know if I'm gonna give a gift to someone that Pretties and Grace is really my first place to go to, right? Because I know that these things are special and, they're just very special pieces with a really good background that takes people back to the gospel.
Yes.
Right.
Well, and I like supporting local makers
Right.
or mom and pops, and all of these companies have a story.
Right.
And, just like you see the memes and the all about how local and small businesses are the ones that are the backbone of your community. And Lord, I want to be that. I strive to be that. And, we are met with all kinds of opportunities to give back.
Right.
And so being able to give back in a way that's also giving forward,
Right.
because we rarely say no. In fact, after our first year in business, David goes, "We're not making any money because you're giving it all away." And I was like, "I can't say no." So we sat down and we prayed about it, and we came up with kind of like a tithing
Right.
um, formula, if you will. Whatever our sales are this month, a percentage of that goes next. That's our budget. And
Right.
once we hit that budget, we might have to say no.
Right.
They still haven't said no. But we try. We try to support those that mean something, and your sometimes your big boys don't always just write a check like that.
Right.
So that's why I'm so grateful that our little business, in order to make a profit, we had to make a profit to be able to give back,
That's right.
and we're doing it in gifts that are meaningful
Yeah.
and mean something. And
And I know my ministry, All the Charities, has, definitely benefited from
close to my heart.
yes, from your all's, giving, and it means the world to me, so
Yeah.
and I love these little stackable books.
And
Okay. Oh, they're little treasure groves. Looky there, I can hide all kinds of stuff.
there's three of the
Remote control.
remotes, and like on my bedside table, I have some, and I have like my lip
Yeah,
chapstick
yes.
and little things in there, and because clutter drives me crazy, and so you can hide your clutter. I have
I
a
love
I have
these.
a lady that even she has a gun beside her bed, and she puts it in one of these because she doesn't want it to look like her. She doesn't want anybody to know it's there, but she can
Right,
reach it and not have to open a drawer. And
right,
she can,
right.
so that's kind of a thought.
Yeah, I love these.
And we have these in different prints and all, but this is just the gold and the white that look like books.
Yes,
That's there.
yes.
And these are our newest. They're called hydrangea something. They're like little mini hydrangeas, and they're little stems. Are they not the cutest?
They
They
are.
Madison fell in love with these. There's some of those are coming home with me, and
Yeah.
so that's a new. And then Park Hill. This is a Park Hill piece,
Oh, I
and
love
it's
that.
got the gold.
That
And
scalloped area. Yeah.
Park Hill is a local. They're out of Little Rock,
Right.
so they're a Arkansas company. So we love supporting the local when we can.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, if you've not been in Pretties and Grace, please come to their downtown location that they just opened. It's absolutely gorgeous. The window alone is worth coming downtown to look at. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. But Terry, I know we're gonna move on to some dessert now, the sweet stuff, right? And I know with you moving downtown and how special military was to you, and it was, oh goodness, it was like a little cabin in town, right? It's our little cabin in town, but we're gonna have a little saying goodbye.
We are every year, or twice a year, we do a big, huge tent sale.
And I'm gonna stop you. Guys, if you love a good deal and I mean, you really wait for the good deal, the tent sale is the place to be. And not only do you have incredible deals, like, sometimes I'm dumbfounded at what you have out there and what you have at So's my husband. Yeah, I know he is. I know.
We call him Mr. Pretties for a reason.
But it's massive. It's massive, and I mean, anyways, you so the tent sale is a yearly thing, and it is, like, the one
Yes.
thing that I look forward to, and
Well,
yeah.
the first year we did it in June, and it was miserably hot.
Yes.
So we try to do one in the spring and one in the fall.
Yeah.
And so we are going to have one last hoorah tent sale. It won't be the last tent sale, but the last one at military. And I think it's like 20 by 20 tent, 20 by 40. It's a huge
It's huge.
event tent
Yeah.
that's out beside the store. And we are going to have one. It's like where I do my like a liquidation, I guess, if you will, overstock. It may be some out of season things. Sometimes I just get it wrong. It might be some of the greenery that I didn't love as much as the others.
Right.
But anyway, um, everything under the tent's usually $10 or under.
Right.
Usually, sometimes dollar, $2, $5. Some of the investment pieces,
And yeah, I mean,
yeah, I mean,
a deal.
really
A
good
deal.
deals.
Yeah.
And so since the store is going to be essentially empty, it's going to be inside and outside.
Okay.
And now the inside stores may not be inside the store may be like a 50% off or 75% off
Right.
because we typically don't do don't do sales, like that much. 40, we're staying about as high as I go. I
Right.
mean, it's about as other than the tent time. And so we may do a Saturday or 2 on the indoors. It depends on how much I can get it together 'cause,
Right.
time is of the essence.
Right.
But, we've already started putting together some things over there that we're going to do, and March 7th and 8th is our next tent sale, and it will be the last one at Military. The next one, I don't know if we'll do it sidewalk style downtown, or I do have a warehouse, and we could do it at the warehouse. I have
Yeah.
plenty of room over there to set up the tent all outside. It's just a little not as fun at
Right.
Military. However, but we'll get the DJ out there and play some Christian tunes, and I've been known to hide a few gift cards, and people just find them and get to use them. I mean, we always have a big time, a big turnout. It's also a customer appreciation, because I do have such loyal customers that do not expect a discount all the time. They come and they support us, and they tell people about us, and it's just a good way to give back, and it's also a good way for us to clear out, and those who may not have disposable funds to spend like they want to spend, they get a good deal. I mean,
Right.
all of that, it's just kind of our giving our customer appreciation weekend, if you
Right.
will, and this time it will be our saying goodbye because we'll close down in March. March is the end of my lease, and so we'll close her down, and I'll probably shed a few, that I had a really hard time. I had a really hard time making that decision, not because I was worried about the partnership, not because I didn't jump at the space. I just am really, really attached to that little store. It's
Yeah.
got such wonderful memories, and it, it there's lots of prayer that's gone on down there.
Right. Right.
That God goes before me, and He's already downtown,
That's right.
and whoever gets that little spot next will bloom and grow and
Yep.
do
So we're gonna
everything.
pray for that.
Yeah, we are,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
are. And, but Benton has really received us well. Malvern and Fayetteville have received us well,
Right.
and, I'm just so grateful for all of the things because you know what? I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't. We're just learning as we go, and that's what grace is all about.
That's right.
That's just,
Mhm.
we ask for it on the daily because we don't get it right every day, but we're
Mhm.
trying hard.
Well, that's yeah, we all need a lot of grace in our life, don't we?
I don't know where I'd be without it.
Amen.
I don't know where I would be
Mm.
without his favor for sure.
That's right, that's right. Well, I am just so excited to have you and have you partner with Kandi Unfiltered and be our sponsor for our podcast, and, I'm just really excited about what God's gonna do here, and, what a way to kick it off, learning all about you, and we haven't really plugged David as much as we probably should, but he is I know he's your rock, and,
He believes in me,
yeah, yeah,
and but not only that, it's not like he just gives me a checkbook and says, "Do what you want." He rolls up his sleeves. I mean, he literally is our logistical. He keeps that where he and Rob and my son Trey, it's kind of a family business,
right,
um, run that warehouse, and he's my muscle, and he's my I mean, we talk about every decision except the
yeah.
18-foot tree. I just love that.
For the tree.
But you know what? When he gets that up, he's gonna say, "You did good, Belle." I mean, he's gonna like that. But really and truly, um, I mean, I have my strengths and what
Right,
I bring, and he has his, and they're kind of weaknesses for the other.
right,
So it really has been a partnership that God formed. I mean,
that's right.
it really has. And I sometimes wonder. I think the only thing he would change is if the holidays weren't in the middle of deer season, or if deer season went in the middle of the holidays, because he would much rather be on that deer stands or helping me put up Christmas trees everywhere, but you know what? He never complains.
Yeah.
But no, David and Robin, Cindy, and Madison, and all of my girls, I mean, I I'm also a part of a couple of networking groups, and I'm also in the corporate world, and one of the hardest things, the most struggle I hear about often is staffing.
Yeah.
I don't have that problem.
Yeah. You are really blessed.
I do not have that problem, and, you know, the Lord has always sent us the perfect staff at the perfect time,
Right.
and, I don't brag on them enough. I
Mm,
really don't,
mm.
because they are the reason that I get to do, get to finish out my career and hopefully can retire in the next couple of years, but they are the reason that Pretties and Grace is what it is. I
Right.
mean, they really are, and, I don't hear, if there's negative out there, I don't hear it. They shield me from it because I think they're gems, every
Yeah.
one of them.
Well, if you would like to visit one of the Pretties and Grace locations, you can find them in downtown Benton,
102 North Market.
102 North Market, and then you can find them in Fayetteville at Brick City in Fayetteville, and then in Malvern.
321 South Main on Malvern,
Okay.
in downtown Malvern, and online at prettiesandgrace.com, and look for a new ribbon cutting ceremony. Maybe by the time next time we meet, we'll have information on that. I'm waiting on my signage.
Yeah.
Have our name in lights.
Oh, good. Well, that's going to wrap it up of this session of Kandi Unfiltered in the Grace Space. Again, Terry and I are going to be coming together once a month, and we're going to bring you some pretties and some inspiration, a whole lot of grace.
I do want to say one other thing.
Okay.
Thank you, Candy, for having me and having our company, for sharing your daughter, for sharing our vision, for always being a loyal supporter of us. And our store verse is James 1:17, is every good and perfect gift is from above. And you, Candy, are a gift to us. So thank you. Thank you.
You're not supposed to get me crying in the middle of a podcast. Well, I don't know. We did say there would be some fun. And, I guess, yeah, raw, you get the tears, but, anyways, thank you for joining us for this, podcast of Candy Unfiltered in the Gray Space. We look forward to seeing you next time.